What is going on today, guys? Tomcat here, and today we're back in Forza Horizon 4, and I have just gotten back from a vacation up north with my family, and I noticed across a couple different areas of the Forza community when I got back, I noticed that there were some people talking about Fortune Island, saying like, oh, this is just for drifters. I don't understand why there's so much of a focus on drift. Why does it all have to be about drift? Blah, 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 blah. And Fortune Island is not just for drifters. Not just for drifters at all. And I am going to explain why while drifting. But no, like, I felt actually like a bit of, I was like, is it a bit of a, is it hypocritical to talk about why the expansion isn't just for drifters while I drift? And then I was like, no, I don't think it's hypocritical. I just think it's kind of hilarious. But the big thing that I want to mention first of all about it is the fact that no, it's not just for drifters. And when I say it's not just for drifters, I mean that it's not just for drifters because of the fact that you have all of the off-road areas, right? All of the off-road areas, you have all that cross-country area that you can use. And I'm not going to talk about specifics of Fortune Island in this video. If you want to know specifics about Fortune Island, you can go back to my channel and watch videos there where I detail each and every little specific detail of Fortune Island. But in this video, we're going to be mainly talking about like the biggest thing, right? That I wouldn't say it bothers me, but I would say I'm like, I don't think you're thinking about that the right way, is when people say, well, it's just for drifters because they've got this massive, like, super long drift road, the, like, what, 3-kilometer drift road or whatever. And the thing about that is there's one big side of the community that a lot of people are not realizing is there, and that's the toge side of the community. Because toge, if you don't know, is basically... It's Japanese for pass, meaning mountain pass, right? Remember Fujimi Kaido? This is the closest thing we've had to Fujimi Kaido in a long time. A very long time. A very, very, very long time. Because there was that span of time, right, where you remember they didn't really want, to put any sort of big mountain in the Forza series. They just weren't interested. And I think this is the first time that they put anything close to that in the Forza series, and I think, the community needs to be careful that there's not, like, they don't do something like this and then all of a sudden there's, like, pushback about it, because I don't think there's pushback, an overwhelming amount of pushback for sure, but I do think, I do see, some people where it's like, oh, I don't like drifting, so why does this whole expansion have to be all about drifting? And the answer is it's not. It's not all about drifting at all. I mean, there's a focus on it, but at the same time, mountain racing is there, and it's going to be alive and well. And not only is mountain racing going to be there, but there's also that aspect of driving down that super skinny, like 8-foot wide road with cliffs on both sides, trying not to fall off in, like, massive trucks. So, see, I think a lot of people end up making the mistake of going, oh, it's just for drifters, and I don't drift. And they miss out on, I think, the point of the expansion. The point of the expansion is to try new things and bring new experiences to the series and bring new gameplay. Because that's the biggest thing, is bringing new aspects of gameplay that weren't necessarily there before. And yes, they are definitely catering to the drift people a good bit, but it's not completely 100%, a drift update, because I don't think they would ever do something like, a dedicated drift update, because if they did an update that was dedicated solely to drifting, they would be ignoring a lot of their community, and they actually do a really good job at focusing in on different areas of the community. And I know that there are people that say, oh, well, why, yeah, but you never do this, like, they never do this, or they never do that, or blah, 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 and, that's kind of one of those things where they can't really... It's like there's so many different types of people that play Forza Horizon in general that they can't really just make a... I mean, they could make a certain type of expansion that was dedicated to just one thing, but they know that their community is way bigger than that, and they know that it would be kind of like a silly thing to do to completely alienate, like, certain parts of their community just because one part of their community is being vocal about something. You know what I mean? So there's definitely a game that they have to play there. But, with that being said, I think that they've done a really good job of incorporating a lot of different things into the update that's coming. And honestly, I think it's a good it's a good balance. And I know that there's going to be people that are going to say, no, it's not a good balance. It needs more of this. It needs more of that. And, da-da-da-da. And, I mean, you could say that about really, like, literally anything. You could literally say that about anything. Any kind of, hell, any kind of game, any kind of, like, whatever you wanted to say it about. Like, you could say it, like, about any game, any car, really anything that's got multiple different types of communities, like, that's, like, got any sort of diverse fan base. You could say something like that about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could say that the creator is doing too much for one part of the community and too little for another part of the community. And there's always going to be people that are going to say, well, they could do more of this, or they could do less of this, or they could do more of this, or they could do less of this, or why are they doing so much of this and not enough of this? Well, I like this, and they need to do more of it, blah, blah, blah. And there's so much that they could do, but I think honestly they've found a really good happy medium with Fortune Island about, like in regards to what would work for both sides of the community. And we're not even both sides, like all sorts of different sides. There's not like really one specific side, or two specific sides even. There's so many different sides of the Forza community. But to be honest, I think that it's one of those things where the people that are complaining about too much of a focus on drifting, they haven't really said anything before, and then all of a sudden, the fact that there was a drift road coming sort of gave them something to talk about, and then, they're like, oh, well, that's not good, we need to talk about that. But I think, maybe some people are worried that this means that, Forza is going to go further and further in the direction of, being too drift-focused, and I don't think that's ever going to be the case. I mean, the developers understand that there are so many different parts of the community that they would never just resort to solely just drift. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a drift game. I mean, it's a game with drifting in it. It's not necessarily a game about drifting, if that makes any sense. God, I wish I could go around these roundabouts faster, because that way, like, I wouldn't have to be concerned about losing my combo. But, woo, come on. There we go. Whoop. But yeah, they know that there's more to the game than drifting. They know there's more to the game than that. And I think instead of being, instead of saying, oh, well, why are you incorporating more drift? We already have enough drift. There's too much of a focus on drift. I think it's one of those things where it's like, yes, you might not be the best drifter. You might not enjoy drifting a ton, or it might not be your thing. But I think, the drift community has waited so long for an expansion like this, especially like anything mountain focused. Like, I for one have been waiting for a mountain focused expansion ever since Forza Motorsport 4, which was so many years ago, and we finally got something related to a mountain based expansion. And I think it's one of those things where, I mean, like, especially if drifting is not your thing, maybe this is the best opportunity to go, like, give it a try. You know what I mean? Like, give drifting a try and see what you think. You might enjoy it. Like, you might not enjoy it, and then, but if you try it and you don't enjoy it, then you don't enjoy it, rather than like, well, I might enjoy it, I might not enjoy it, but I'm not going to try it regardless. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where I think people get hung up, because they're like, oh, well, I don't drift. Drifting is not Forza. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't think that any one type of driving in particular classifies Forza. Forza is not, especially Forza Horizon. Like, the Horizon series is not it's not a grip-focused game. It's not a drift-focused game. It's not an off-road-focused game. It's all of those things. And more. You know what I mean? It's all of those things plus a bunch of different crazy shenanigans. So there's I don't think there's any reason to get so, so hung up on, oh, there's too much drift. There's too much drift focus. I don't think there's any reason to get hung up on that, when really at the end of the day, oh, that's going to suck. Yep, I knew that was, I saw that coming. But no, like, I don't think there's any reason to get super hung up on there being too much of a focus on drift, when the game already has so many other areas. Like, if you don't like drifting, there are so many other things you can do. So many other things you can do. And I think at a certain point, you come to realize that when you... Wow, okay, there was nowhere to freaking go. The only way to go around that taxi was to go left. And that TTS appeared, or TTS, or TTRS. Hi, are you going to push me out of your way? Jeez. Jeez. All right, let me just go over here and, like, completely away from you. Because clearly you are not... Oh, my God, I did not want to rewind. I hate when I accidentally tap the rewind button. I did that one time on a massive skill chain, and boy, I was upset. Dude, I was freaking annoyed. Whatever on that one. I don't care on that one. But yeah, I think the biggest thing that we have to think about is the fact that, yeah, you know, drifting in a sense is like, it's not quite, and that's the thing too, is like, it's not quite, and this, I hope this doesn't make me sound, you know, sound rude, but it's like, it's not actually that difficult once you break it down. Because really, it's just sustained, controlled oversteer. Like, if you know how to control oversteer, you'll be okay. I really hope I don't flip over. Okay, cool. I was really trying to catch that. I was like, oh man, that would be fun if that would be really fun if I ended up catching it. But no, like, drifting is, wow, that was close. Drifting is just sustained, controlled oversteer. That's really all it is. And, you know, with that being said, there's a lot of grip people that have become faster by learning how to slide, because once they know how to control a car well past the limit, then the limit itself becomes super forgiving. So I think it's one of those things where if you are in that camp where you're like, I don't like drifting, drifting is stupid, give it a try. You know what I mean? Like, give it a try. And if you still don't like it, then, you know, there's a whole massive, you know, other side to the game that's still perfect for you. You know what I mean? And even there's a whole other side to Fortune Island that's perfect for you. So with that in mind and keeping that in mind, I don't think Fortune Island focuses too heavily on drifting, even though I have seen some people speak out about it in the community. I really don't think, again, like I said, I don't think Fortune Island focuses too heavily on drifting. I think it actually is awesome that the drift community is finally getting something resembling a mountain. Plus, the fact that the Toge people are going to get a mountain pass. Finally are going to get a mountain pass. I mean, I can't wait for that, like myself, just for Toge battles and everything like that. That's going to be amazing. It's going to be sweet. So there's so many new things that I think to look forward to in Fortune Island that I don't think there's any point in, like, really trying to, like, you know, go crazy over this idea of, like, too much drifting, quote unquote. But if you guys enjoyed this video and enjoyed this topic and enjoyed this talk, make sure you leave me a like. Tell me in the comments below what your thoughts are on this idea. Do you think there's too much drifting in the Horizon series? Do you think there's too much drift focus in Fortune Island? If you do, then let me know. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe for more. I post videos every single day, and I'll see you guys next time. Talk to y'all later.